Well, for those of you who have been exploring our facilities, you may notice we don't really look like your average aquarium because we are in fact a working marine hospital. Now with that being said, I'm going to introduce you to two of our fabulous residents, Selma and Louise, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we do here with them in their husbandry process. So what you see going right on here is our wonderful sharp target training program. So I'm going to talk to you all a little bit about that, and then I'm going to delve into some shark biology for you all. So starting off with this, what they're going to do is they're going to go ahead and mosey out onto that platform right there. And you see they're holding these two long poles. Those are what we call here at the aquarium targets. Now what they're going to do with these targets is they're going to go ahead and stick them in the water, and Selma and Louise, not having many photoreceptors in their eyes, are only going to be able to tell the difference because one is black and one is white. And that is why they have those two basic colors. So they're going to swim right on up to them and touch them with the edge of their snout. So they're going to go up with their snout, and then what they're going to do is they're going to go ahead and guide Selma and Louise around the water and then feed them. Feeding them is what we call positive reinforcement, and it is our primary reinforcement. So what's going to happen is they're going to be rewarded for swimming through and for coming up. Now, why do we do this? Why do we do this early training behavior? Does anybody have any idea why we might want to train them to swim in between here and then kind of keep them calm and still? Does anybody have any ideas? Any ideas at all? Alright, well like I said before, we are a working marine hospital and we do many procedures on our animals here to ensure that they have the best health possible. And so one of the things that we do is we make sure that they have everything's good with their blood. So when we do a blood draw, we're going to want them to swim through the middle. We're going to want them to kind of stay there. We want to make sure that we're able to do these advanced procedures on them without them freaking out. And so this is kind of a way to desensitize them to human touch. So you notice when they do come swimming through, what they're going to do is they're actually going to reach out and they're going to go ahead and touch the sharks. Now a little bit about the sharks. Selma and Louise, they came here quite a while ago and they were actually donated to us by a man who was actually keeping them as pets. Now it started common misconception that saltwater fish would grow to the size of their tanks. And this man was under that impression. Unfortunately, it's absolutely not true. So Selma and Louise kept growing and growing and growing. And they eventually got too big to where he could not care for them anymore. So luckily for him, he found out about our facility and he donated them to us. And now they live here and quite happily. So when they go ahead and they do feed them, you might hear a very loud sucking noise akin to that of a vacuum cleaner. Now that is actually where nurse sharks get their names from. Nursing meaning sucking. So what they do is they'll swim along the bottom of the ocean in the wild and they'll patrol for food. Now how do they find food under the sand? Well, you may notice on the edge of their snouts, they have these tiny pathways they're looking things. Well, those are called barbels. Now what barbels do is they have electroreceptors in them and it helps them detect tiny movements of small animals in the sand. So what they'll do is they'll follow that using a process called chemotaxis. And what they're going to do is they're going to follow those small little vortices that they find and smell, and then they're going to get up real close and they're going to switch to those barbels and they're going to go ahead and bite. So when they go and they bite, what happens is it makes a quick suction noise. They suck whatever's within the very close vicinity of their mouth into their mouth and they chomp down. Now it was asked earlier, how many teeth do nurse sharks have? Well, nurse sharks, like all sharks, have continually replacing teeth. What that means is that when they go ahead and take the bite, their teeth might get worn down. So what happens is a tooth might break or chip or be lost. Well, luckily for them, there's a tooth right after that, ready to be replaced. So you'll see they're going to reach out and they're going to touch Selma and Louise. That is because, like I said earlier, we want to desensitize them to human touch. Now, very interesting about our sharks is actually where their teeth came from is their scales. So most fish kind of have a slimy feel to them, right? Well, nurse sharks, if you rub your hand one way, it's smooth. If you rub your hand the other way, it actually kind of feels like sandpaper. It's very rough. So that is because of the shape of their scales. They are called flat-point scales, and they're shaped a little bit like teeth. And so what happens with these black-weighted scales is they can actually, by the way, vary by species. So nurse sharks are very slow-moving sharks. So they're not exactly the best dynamically shaped. They're not going to allow for the best of dynamics. And that's okay though, because the nurse sharks, they have a different way of hunting. Now their teeth, they actually, what most scientists believe is that their teeth evolved from their scales. So the scales eventually ended up coming down into the mouth, and that's where their teeth came from. Now, a little bit about nurse sharks and how they hunt. Nurse sharks are called nocturnal hunters. Does anyone know what the word nocturnal means? At night. At night, exactly. So that means during the day, they're going to go ahead and sleep, and then they're most active at night, kind of like your average college student. So, what they do is they have their very own place that they like to sleep during the day. Just kind of like you and I, you know, we sleep in our bed. We have one place that we like to sleep all the time. Well, nurse sharks are just like that. They will find one spot out in the ocean, relatively close, hopefully, to a rocky outcropping, and they will find that place and they will sleep there every day. So they will always come back to that same spot to sleep. Now, nurse sharks, not only will they sleep in one spot, they will also sleep in groups. There have been found groups up to 20 nurse sharks sleeping together in one spot. So Thelma and Louise, their favorite spot is actually right here below me. So if you manage later to go down by Shipwreck Alley, you'll notice that they like to sleep right here towards the glass, and that's their favorite spot. So, does anybody have any questions at all regarding the biology or what we're doing right here? I'd love to answer questions, so feel free to ask. Yes?
Is it hard to get them to feed now, or just like they're nocturnal?
So they are nocturnal feeders, however, down there it's actually quite dark. And we try to minimize the light that comes in here. So for them, it's kind of a twilighty kind of zone in the middle of, you know, dusk, dawn. So it's kind of an ambiguous to them. So they don't really have issues hunting. Now, nurse sharks, they are called opportunistic feeders. Another common question that we get is, why don't they eat the stingrays? Why don't they eat the other fish in the pool? Well, the nurse sharks, they will only eat, they will expend the least amount of energy towards finding a meal. Now, here we are feeding them, and they have no problem. They're coming up, they're eating the food. They don't need to worry about hunting. So why would they go through the trouble of eating a fish or a stingray that's also in this tank? Now, over there, you can see on the other side of the tank, we actually have two of our volunteers. They are feeding our stingrays here. So that is also a target pool, and you can see it's a little bit different because it's meant for a different animal.
Oh, they're feeding stingrays, okay.
For different animals here at the aquarium. So you can see our counter rays, they're swimming right on up there, and they are taking the squid right out of the target pool. Does anyone have any other questions?